right, everybody, welcome to another episode of SoTellUs Time. It is a beautiful Tuesday morning, and we are so excited to be here with you today. Today, we're going to be talking about max it out. Max it out. What do I mean by max it out? Run it to the max. Wasn't there like a Mountain Dew Max one time, right?
I think so, yeah.
It's a very powerful conversation here. It's a very powerful statement. Max it out. I feel like I'm like a, X Games guy talking here about the X Games. But we're not. We're talking about your business today. So max it out. What do I mean by that? Well, people get stuck in a rut, and they don't even realize it. These business owners, we get stuck in this rut. So we go out and we invest in our business, right? We do these different marketing strategies. And I know a lot of times we're talking about what marketing strategies work, what ones don't work, and trying to advise everybody on that kind of stuff. Today, we're going to be talking about the ones that do work. Specifically, the investments that you're doing right now for your business in marketing, the things that you're doing for marketing right now, and the ones that are working. So with that, they get stuck in this rut. Let's say they go and they do Google PPC.
Right.
And they're spending $3,000 a month, and it's producing X, Y, and Z, and they're really excited about that and happy. And then what happens is they move on from that.
Yes.
Okay? And that's a big mistake. And so I'm sure many of you have done this. We've done this in the past. We have learned, right? It's been 20 years of growing and learning. We've done this as well. And it's a big mistake. What we mean is you need to maximize the profits out of that avenue of revenue. So you've got Google PPC as an example. You've got $3,000 that you're spending on it, and you're getting this amount of return on that investment. Now the question is, have you tried playing with that budget to see how much more you can get on return from your marketing dollars, right? So let's talk a little bit about different types of marketing really quick.
Yep.
And kind of jump into this.
All right. So, because again, that's one of the things that I think is really important, Trevor, is a lot of times, like you said, people start doing one form of marketing, they get comfortable with it, and then they want to look to the next thing.
That's
like,
right.
oh, I'm going to do this over here, and I'm going to get something off of that. And they're jumping from one marketing strategy to the next, but they haven't maximized it out. So let's talk about different marketing. I want you to think about what you're doing in your business. So how are you marketing your business? Are you doing social media marketing, right? Are you doing Facebook ads? Are you doing organic stuff there? What about direct mail marketing? Are you sending stuff out, mailers? Are you sending out flyers? Are you doing door hangers? What kind of direct mail marketing are you doing? Google ads, we've talked about that, the PPC or the pay-per-click.
Yep.
Are you doing that for your business? Sales teams. Do you have a sales team that are actually going out and closing sales for you, right? Have you maximized that? Because even though that's people, right? It's people, but it's marketing. So you can make people better at their jobs.
Absolutely. Like, for instance, when we bring on another sales rep, when he first started, his average close rate was like 14%. We helped him get better, and he got to 25%. We helped him get even better than that, and he got up to like a 60%. Yep. And he's doing really well, and he's continuing to learn and get better at it. So we're maximizing that sales rep.
Exactly. And then maybe referral partners. You might do something with referral partners. Are you maximizing that channel as well? So I want you to think about all the different ways you're marketing your business right now, and then I want you to think about how much are you spending every month on those channels, right? So what is your current marketing budget? Mm-hmm. And across all of those, not just individually, but across all of those. And the next question I would ask you is, are you spending at least 10% of your gross revenues on marketing?
Yep. Yeah.
Because that's one of the big things that we see with businesses. They go, oh yeah, my marketing budget is this. Okay, great. How did you come up with that budget? Well, that's what I could afford at the time.
And especially with the smaller guys, the one-man shows or the smaller companies, a lot of times it's just that they put this number out there of that this is what I can spend. And it's funny because you look at and we've talked about this a little bit in the past, but we'll recap. You take somebody who is making a couple $100,000 a year, and they are the owner operator. So they're basically they're sucking everything out to put into their own pockets, and they're not leaving enough left over for marketing to grow the company. And so when we talk to them, we say, hey, listen, we need to come up with a budget, right? It should be at least 10% of what so we need to take this much and spend it. They go, oh, well, but that would hurt me, because then they're thinking of all the things that now they're not bringing that money home, and all the things they won't be able to do, and all the money they won't be able to spend.
Exactly.
So
and a lot of times, yeah, exactly. And a lot of times what we see too is as businesses grow, they set their budget, like this is my budget, I'm going to spend, $5,000 a month, and then they grow the business, but they never change the budget. And it's like, well, now
Yes.
they're making twice as much money, they're twice as big, but they kept the same budget as, several years ago. And they're like, man, I'm not growing that much anymore. I've kind of like flatlined. Why have I flatlined?
Right.
Well, because you didn't grow your budget with your business. So, ask yourself, are you spending 10%, and where are you spending that money? And then the next thing that you need to go on to is what is working. Out of all that money you're spending, what is working? So Trevor, why don't you talk to us about the ROI, or return on investment?
That's right. So your ROI, so return on investment. Yeah. Which ones of these things are working well? Hopefully you've already determined that. And then what are you getting out of that is the whole point of this. And so I was talking to a client the other day, and he was spending on one piece of his PPC. So he had multiple campaigns going, and in one campaign he was spending $2,500, and he was generating $60,000 off of that $2,500.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. But that's like a 24 times your investment. That's 24 times your investment. So that's a phenomenal return on investment. So you need to look at, what am I spending and how much am I getting back? And again, it's all tracking, numbers, knowing your numbers so that you can grow your business. And then from there, when you know that, you need to find out, what you need to look at basically is you need to look at, when was the last time I tried increasing that budget, and then continue to track it. And so I'll give you the example, because that's what I asked him. Is I said, well, that's great, but when was the last time you increased that? Have you tried doubling that to see if you will double what you get back? So going from 2,500 to 5,000 and then getting 120,000 back, you need to increase that budget, because what's going to happen, and we learned this a long time ago with the post place, you're going to spend more money. So you take an avenue of revenue, something that's working, and then you slowly increase that budget, and then track it and monitor it and see how much, your return grows, and then increase it again and track it and see how much it returns, and increase it again. And you keep doing this over and over and over again. And eventually what will happen is you will maximize that out. And then you will actually go over that. You will go over it and you will spend more, and you'll realize, oh, I didn't produce any more money from that. And you may even try spending a little bit more and making some adjustments and go, oh, I still didn't make any more money from that. So let me bring it back down to that sweet spot.
Yep.
And now I know I have maxed out this avenue of revenue. And so that's the question I asked him is, have you increased the budget? When did you increase the budget? Well, no, we haven't increased the budget. And he goes, and the funny thing was, he was saying, I want more of this. I want more of these types of jobs. And I said, great. So did you increase your budget for marketing to get more of those jobs? He's like, well, no. I'm like, well, then how do you expect to get more of the jobs? Your budget is being maxed out. You need to increase your budget and generate more jobs. And we did that. We do that with our own business, obviously. We do that with our PPC right now with SoTellUs. We have our sales guys updating their sales numbers every single day, because I told them, I said, listen, the more sales you bring in, the lower it costs me, right, for that marketing. So as we bring that marketing dollar, the cost of acquisition down, I can increase the marketing budget, because I can see, and I get to monitor it daily. And so I can continue to increase that marketing budget, which brings them more leads, and they love it because they're getting more leads. We love it because we're getting more sales. We both love it because we're getting more sales. And I feel very comfortable doing that, because a lot of people have a hard time doing that. Just increasing that budget. I have no problem. I told these guys, I will spend $100,000 a month on PPC for these leads, as long as my cost of acquisition stays good, stays similar. Maybe it'll tick up a little bit, but that's okay, because you still are being profitable. So it's all about being profitable, right? Okay, so look at that in your business and see what you guys can be doing, because too often you get stuck in this rut where you just put that budget out there, and then you are getting the leads, you're getting the sales, and you're happy about it, and you move on to something new, but you never maximize that.
Yeah.
And there's so much more potential that could have been drawn in from that. I was talking to a friend of ours and a client the other day, and affiliate, and he was saying how this marketing was working really well for him. It was Thumbtack, actually.
Yeah.
Right? Thumbtack was working really well, but he was also running Google Ads. And he was like, man, the Google Ads just aren't performing like Thumbtack is. And I said to him, well, have you increased the Thumbtack budget? And he was like, well, no. I said, well, then why are you doing the Google?
Right.
And he's like, well, I wanted to diversify. And I was like, okay, before you diversify, we maximize. Do not diversify until you have maxed it out. And so I said, stop the Google ads, take that budget, double your Thumbtack, and let's see how much your business grows. And what was crazy is he went from doing a few jobs and a few $1,000s a month up to $10,000 a month and $50,000 a month. And then he was doing over $100,000 a month by simply doubling the budget of the marketing that was already working. But that was what was funny is here he's spending money and he knows it's working, but now he's like, but I got to diversify and spend money over here. And if he would have gotten Google working right, he wouldn't have been talking to me. He would have been diversifying and trying to market over here. And it was just silly because he could have just spent in one location with one thing, one strategy, and he quadrupled his business. He went from making a couple $100,000 a year to making over $1 million a year.
Yeah, my wife calls that FOMO. Fear of missing out.
Yes.
And it's like, well, okay, I've got this one working, this marketing is doing good, but what if Google's better? And and then you go and you do that, and it's like, but what if this is better? And again, it's not maximizing it, and it's that fear of missing out. That, well, what if I'm missing out on these customers that are over here? And again, until you maximize it out and you know what it is, and again, in order to maximize it out, I want to reiterate what Trevor said. In order to know where your max is, you actually are going to have to go above your max to realize that was the cap.
Yep.
This is where I can go. And again, you're always improving things in marketing and all that kind of stuff. So, that'll change a little bit. But knowing where that cap is, so is really, really important to make sure. Because again, why would you want to have to be managing 10 different marketing strategies when you could be the master of one?
Absolutely.
Right? And then once you've mastered that one and it's totally easy and running, then you can look for something else.
And
right?
and really think about that story I just told about that friend of ours. A couple $100,000 a year up to over $1 million a year in one strategy. And now it's like, so now he has the extra income to dabble and play with these other things and really go after it and not be afraid. And not be like, well, I'm just going to spend a few $100s over here, because guess what? Most industries for Google PPC, if your budget's a couple $100s to like $500, you're going to be hurting pretty bad.
That's just a charity. You're just donating money to Google at that point.
Google. That's right. All right. What's the homework, Troy?
All right. So the homework this week is find one marketing strategy that you are currently doing that is working, meaning you know the numbers, right? So you've got to know the numbers. You can't just be like, yeah, I'm pretty sure it works. I'm going to double my budget. You need to know the numbers, know that it works, and then you want to increase your budget this week. And you want to test it and see if you can get more sales. Now, just one caveat to that, and Trevor always tells us to our clients when it comes to testing, how long do you need to wait when it comes to testing?
Testing, you've got to give it a good run. It can't be like, I was talking to another client and he was like, I turned on the Google PPC and I spent $35 and got nothing. So I turned it off. I was like, $35. I mean, I don't care if you spent $150, $200, $500. It depends on your market and the cost of acquisition, all that. It all depends on that. But the funny thing was it was just like on and then off. Yeah. And I said, how could you even imagine that would produce? So I tell my clients with the Google PPC, especially and specifically, you need to give that a minimum of 2 weeks to 3 weeks to really kick in and start to see what it can do. But how we do it is, I am looking at, each like I really say for us personally in our company, I give everything about a month minimum. And Troy knows I really want to test each thing really well. And it drives Troy nuts sometimes because we do spend money that we're not quite sure if we're going to get the return on investment on, but it's worth it. And so we were doing another avenue of revenue.
Yep.
And it was like month 1, it didn't really do that great, but we got a couple sales. Month 2, we broke even, and I said, okay, great, we're fine tuning it. Month 3, we broke even again, it was fine tuning it. And then month 4, we didn't do good on it.
Yep.
And then month 5, it was not making us any money. And so I went 5 months testing that and to realize that, like, hey, this really isn't going to do well for my business, but that's a true test.
Yeah.
That's real. And I told Troy, we track everything each month for the year. And when we start doing something new, and if it's at least making us money, I tell Troy, well, we won't really truly have all the data until we have a year's worth of data. Now so not everybody can do that, but I mean, as long as you're making some money off of it, you're going to be able to fine tune it and everything. But we've gone through some of this marketing now, and now we know this month's phenomenal, these 2 months are okay, and the rest of the year is just phenomenal. And so that's a true, real test. I mean, you gotta do it for what's right for your business, but I'm telling you, whatever that is, make sure it's a true, real, and good test.
Yes.
Because all the time people come to us and say, well, this doesn't work. And I'm like, no, that does work. And I know it works in your industry because I do it for other people.
Yeah.
How long did you try it for? Oh, well, I put it up for 2 weeks and it didn't really, I mean, I kind of, almost broke even on it and everything. And I said, great, but you know what? That's not your forte.
Yeah.
You're trying to do something that you don't know how to do and you're just jerry-rigging it. I said, so let somebody that really knows what they're doing, like me, show you how it should be done. And so
exactly. So make sure you give it enough time. And again, you don't have to go crazy on the test. You don't have to go from, you don't have to double your budget instantly this week, right? You can just do a little increase and make sure the number seems right.
Yes.
That's what we do. And then another little increase.
Yes.
So that's your homework. Find the one strategy, not all your strategies.
That's right.
One marketing strategy this week.
Your best.
Your very best one that you know your numbers on, and then increase that budget and test to see if you can get as good a return.
Absolutely. Okay, guys. Well, that's it. That's a quick one. 16 minutes today. We appreciate you guys. We have so much fun every week doing this with you. We hope that it opens up your minds and gets you thinking in a direction that's going to help your business grow. That's the whole point. Sometimes we're going to give you guys very specific things. Other times it's just to open your minds up and get you to think a little bit more or a little differently from another perspective, because that's really what the most successful people can grab it and look at it from a 360. Well, guess what? We can't all do that. I can't do that either. So that's why we have people that help us, like SoTellUs Time. Please like, share, comment, and get it out there. We will see you guys on the next episode of SoTellUs Time.